Went away. It all went away. It all went away. Y'all doing all right out there? Good, good. This is me. I'm trying to do this again. I tried this earlier today, but it didn't work out for me, so I erased and deleted my Facebook and YouTube stuff. What I thought about the movie Sinners. Wi-Fi was acting the fool, and I'm hoping that the Wi-Fi will be okay tonight, that is. It's a Friday night, and let's see if we can do this again. And spoiler alert. I don't know how much spoiling I'm going to do. I'm going to play some videos here, not of the movie, but of some of the TikTokers out there. See what they got to say about it, okay? I'll see you in about 60. You good. Don't stop. Bass.
It's the show that will get you thinking, and where the topics are hot. Feel free to comment whether we agree or not, 'cause he's got something to say.
Sirwalterj.
He's got something to say. Sirwalterj.
Report live 7 days a week, always on time, but this time is not free. Sirwalterj, always on fleek. Latest trending topics, had you jumping out your seat.
He's got something to say.
Come on in, boys. The water is fine.
Hello, everybody. Sirwalterj Jones Show. I'm here. It is the evening edition, baby. How you guys coming in? Water's fine. Y'all doing good? Y'all doing all right? Good. I don't know what's going on. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten anything yet. See. Can't talk because I haven't eaten anything. Tonight we're talking about the movie Sinners. And so this whole thing about Sinners is bothering a lot of people here. Black people are already divided in it because we're not a monolith. People don't think that we all are. We're not. We have black people who are spiritualists. They are unsaved. They are saved, and they're those who are atheists, African Americans, and those who are agnostic, on and on. And so we do what we do in our communities. And then there are those who are Christians, who are divided within themselves on what they are allowed to see, what they're allowed to witness, either at the movie theaters or in their homes. The funny thing about Christians is that we are kind of weird and kind of strange, is because we won't go to the movies and see as something that might be PG 13, 14, 15, 16, or R-rated or what have you. But then when that movie goes and gets on our Netflix, our Prime, and whatever thing we're paying for, then we'll see it there at the house. That's what we are. We really are hypocrites, okay? And so to see the trailer of this movie called Sinners is to know that it was vampire-ish. If you ever seen the movie From Dusk to Dawn, it was white folks in that movie, and the villains were Hispanics who were the vampires. I'll play that in a minute. So if you went to the movie after seeing the trailer and then you said it was too demonic for you and it was too deep spiritually and you couldn't take it anymore, you had to leave, then what trailer did you watch? Which trailer did you watch? Because I've watched the trailer, because typically they have several trailers for movies that are being released, and all them trailers told me this is vampire. This movie is going to talk about evil. All of them did. So I don't understand why you decide to go to the movie, sit there and start speaking in tongues and running out of there. All right? I don't know what number I'm on, but let me tell you something. You all have gone to the movie to see many anti-Christian movies, because this movie was anti-Christian. I need you to know that. You've gone to the movies to see a whole bunch of them, anti-Christian movies, and they didn't really bother you. They didn't. No. It bothers you because I think what happens is the Christians over-romanticize the content of spiritual or demonic or spirits, things like that, dealing with, especially when you're dealing with ancestral worship and what have you. So the very deep Christian YouTubers and TikTokers and Instagrammers are going. You're going to see them say, y'all stay away from that movie. Something in my spirit, it moved last night. Something said, the Lord woke me up, said, don't y'all go see sinners because something's going to enter your spirit and you won't be able to shake it and demons going to come through your window. Let me tell y'all something. I'm sick of you deep Christians. Can I tell you one of the most sinister, most demonic cartoons that I witnessed when I was a child? You know which one that was? It was called the Smurfs. Papa Smurf was a witch. He was a warlock. We saw this kind of stuff coming up in some of the MGM Looney Tunes and all kind of stuff in our cartoons. It was there. It was subliminal, but it sure was there. And we played it. We watched it. Some of the TV shows y'all watch is full of demonic stuff. But does it have to be demonic for you not to see it? Y'all watch movies that have a lot of sexual content in it, a lot of cussing in it. So last I checked, sin is sin. So I would never tell y'all to go to a movie that you can't handle. Sinners might be too much for you because it is filled with a lot of ancestral worship and hoodoo and talking to the dead and vampires. All that stuff was silly to me, but it may be too deep for you. Don't go. While eating cereal, Christopher. They're watching that stuff, but they're watching folks have sex, Christopher, while eating cereal. And then you talk about, the demon's gonna jump out of the screen and jump into you and it's gonna cause you to start, what y'all call it when you're going in the air? What y'all call that thing? Man, y'all and guess what? It's mostly women. It's mostly women. So, am I promoting a movie? Absolutely not. I went for the reason that I went to go see movies from our friend, what's his name? Jordan Peele. If you went to go see Get Out, but you can't go and see Sinners, what's wrong with you? Huh? We something else. Thank you, Elaine. Levitating. Jordan Peele is a brilliant director, writer, producer. Brilliant. Get Out got us all out to go see it. It was something that blew our mind. And the fact that the white studios allowed such content like that shocked me. But I was proud of the studios to allow for him to talk about the issue with race. And then he did Us, the Doppelgangers. And then after that, he did a movie called Nope. I mean, Jordan is brilliant, y'all, brilliant. So then Coogler friend and Holly. Is that what was it? What was that? Coogler friend and Ollie? Yeah. So Monkey Moves. Google. You can Google Coogler friend and Ollie. All right, you can Google that, and then you know what I'm talking about. Let me see, Bunkers. What y'all saying here? What y'all saying? I want to see what y'all saying. Sometimes we just got to have faith. To come on, Senor. What else y'all saying? Y'all saying a whole lot of stuff. I'm trying to see what y'all saying. I know it's good. Sherry, what they say? What did actually say? What she say? Huh? What she say? All right. So he did Fruitvale Station. This is Ryan Coogler. Then he did Creed. And then Black Panther. Y'all wanted to go see Black Panther, but you didn't want to go see Sinners because it was full of demonic stuff. Y'all something else. Y'all left Black Panther so inspired. Y'all was so inspired. Black people, I think when they put whoever created the word hypocrite, when you go into the dictionary, you're gonna see blackface. I watched Sinners. It is what what you expect from a vampire movie. I enjoyed it, but I like vampire movies. Yeah, it's the honey buns. Y'all something. And she said, life has enough horror in it for me. I don't need any more anxiety. That's pretty good. I love y'all's honesty. I love y'all honesty. So I'm telling y'all, don't go see the movie if you can't handle it. Nene is talking for some of y'all. Y'all can't handle it. All right? So he gave us the Wakanda Forever, then he gave us Sinners. And let me tell y'all something. The brother did something that most white producers and directors couldn't get. He got a deal, y'all, from the company who released what company released it? I don't even know who released it. Is it Paramount? I don't even know. He got what's called a first dollar deal, y'all. That don't happen for no black director. Come on, Christopher Shaw. I love my people, but man, that don't happen. He gets the first dollar. All right? He got two things. He got two deals that you don't see. The only person who got these kind of deals is Quentin Tarantino, and who directed the Jesus movie? Who directed that movie? What's his name? They said that he was an anti-Semite. There's only 2 or 3 white directors that got this kind of deal. All right, so he gets the first dollar. What does that mean? Well, when the movie is released, the movie must make its money back first before the director gets his cut. You understand? So if the company spent 90 million, that is, this movie I think costs $90 million. All right, that's a lot. Mel Gibson, thank you, Lakeisha. So the movie costs $90 million to produce. To date, the movie made $48 million. All right? It might be even higher today, but it's around $48 million, which means the director still don't see any residuals. Now, the director may have received a payment for it, but as far as residuals is concerned, no, he don't see any of that until the studio make their monies back. So it has made $48 million so far. It's got to make $90 million and $1 before the studios pay Coogler royalties. Y'all understand? Well, Coogler received first dollar. From the first dollar that came in, he's already getting paid. That don't happen. Thank you, the Passion of the Christ, Pat Wilson. And number 2, he also made a deal where Christopher, he owns the movie after 25 years. No black man got that deal. No black director. Bill Duke and who did Boys in the Hood and all these other black directors, they don't get no deal like that. 40 Acres and a Mule, what's his name? It's unheard of. Come on, Christopher. The recoup. So the recoup had nothing to do with Coogler. So after 25 years, he owns it. Y'all, let me tell you, that's some kind of black power. So I went to go see the movie because I think he's a brilliant producer, director. Spike Lee. No, Spike Lee never got that kind of deal. This is a first. And the studios don't like giving that kind of deal because that gives too much power to the directors. And because what the studios are going to do is make a franchise out of a hit movie. Hence, the Black Panther, then Wakanda, and maybe something else will come out of it, and they will run it till they run it out. They're going to squeeze as much as they can, and then they may give up the rights, maybe. But with him, 25 years going to go by, and 25 years will go by fast for a young man. All right? He's a young man. 25 years, he will own this movie, and then he'll be able to do whatever he wants to with it. Let me tell y'all, ain't no black man getting that kind of deal. He better stay out of the snow if he wants to. Sherry, yes, we know what you mean. I just dropped something in the men's room about Shannon played in the snow. I just dropped something in the men's room. Well, it's about to drop after I get through with this. Hold on, man. I better do this now before I forget. Hold on. Men's room. The men's room. Okay. Yeah, I will forget. Stay out of the snow. Hold on, y'all. Where's the men's room? Right there. Okay. All right. I'll do that right after the show is over. I'll drop that. Okay, so I want to play some videos here from some TikTokers so that we could see what's going on here, because what you're going to see here is a white proximity is a word, is a phrase that is used. And proximity to whiteness. All right. You're going to see, if you go see the movie, you're going to see the white proximity to whiteness, and you're also going to see the mulatto woman. And there was a Jim Crow museum online did a little piece called The Tragic Mulatto. All right, The Tragic Mulatto. Well, if you watch the movie, you're going to see the tragic mulatto in this woman who was raised, a white father who was raised white, but she was surrounded by blacks, and she did not want to play the white person. She wanted to be a black woman because she's half, like Barack Obama. All right, she's Lena Horne in the sense she can pass. Passing is something that happened and back in the day, during the times of our grandfathers. And so this movie really played on a lot of things that happened back in the day and what's happening even today, which makes it so brilliant. So let me tell y'all something. This movie really is not about vampires. No. It's not about vampires. The movie is about music, racism, black culture, the South in the 1930s. It's not about vampires. Vampires is what got y'all to get into those theaters seats. I'm telling you, this was brilliant, brilliant. The videography was amazing. The acting, extraordinary. The camera angles, the lighting, and my favorite part, that music. That music went down into my soul because I, being a musician, being a songwriter, spending my summers in the South, listening to bluegrass and it started off with blues. Blues turned into rhythm and blues. It's blues, rhythm and blues, okay, which transformed to what's called R&B. And then R&B transferred to rock and roll. In this movie, he presents that to you, but you've got to really pay attention to see it. Because when the vampires, who are white, the whites bring in the death, not the blacks. And then there's the KKKs. So the white mulatto woman brings death. I told y'all this is a spoiler alert. The white woman who's mixed, she's black and white, which means she's black, but she's sure looks white, comes to the party. But she's the one that leaves the party, goes out there, brings death back to everybody in the church joint. So this is why I say that someone like Coogler and someone like Jordan Peele was so brilliant, but had the freedom to be able to talk about something that is cultural and subject matters of race and discrimination, to be able to bring that into a blockbuster form like a movie, and it sells out like that, y'all, let me tell you. Let me tell y'all. It's unheard of. Unheard of. The music, Lakeisha, yeah, amazing. The music was so good that I went on ahead and just downloaded the music. There's 2 soundtracks. One is typically the movie soundtrack, that's the score, and then there will be the soundtrack, which will be the songs that are performed in the movie. And let me tell you, he mixed blues with Irish, the style of the Irish, with the style of rock and roll, brought a little hip hop in there and soul throughout the movie. And I thought, how brilliant was the music supervisor to do that. Okay, so this young lady here is going to play some of the Hispanic disgust on the movie. Hispanics are upset, y'all. I was hesitant because of the vampire suggestion, but after hearing the storyline, I went with my husband and another couple. It was not about vampires. There you go, Veronica. I told y'all it wasn't really about vampires. That was just a caveat to get you in there. All right. Yes, I got the center soundtrack, Monkey Moves. This young lady here, what is her name? Her channel, Miss African Uganda, pulled up many of the Hispanics don't like the movie because they don't have any parts in the movie. All right. Now, you know, black people, Black Twitter ain't no joke. Black Twitter ain't no joke. All right, here we go. Let's play it.
And let me know what you think about these videos down in the commentary.
Vampire movie? Come on, man. That's a bad look. I don't think this guy liked this movie at all. I think he might be a racist.
Okay, this is a Hispanic who's upset that Hispanics did not play a part in this movie, Sinners. And black folks sure getting ready to respond to him. And then he's saying that Coogler stole it from the vampire movie called Dusk to Dawn. All right? Okay. Some of these I'm going to have to skip because some of them are laced with some profanity, and I don't know which ones it is yet. And so I'm going to do what I can, y'all, to shelter your ears.
Why are other groups of people always demanding that black people be the representation for their group? I saw Raheem say that, I think that's his name, and I thought that was so powerful. When a lot of these people who are speaking are anti-black racists themselves, but whenever something goes good that we're happy about, that we're talking about, that we're represented in, that is for us, by us, you always have other groups of people coming in saying, well, why weren't Hispanics in there? Well, why weren't white people in there? And why weren't these people in there? And when he said that, that shit touched me. When he said, why are other groups of people always demanding that black people represent their group when you can do the same thing that these black creators are doing? Why don't you be the representation for your own group and stop worrying about why black people aren't representing for you? It's not our job to do that.
And that's good, Deborah Ann. Thank you for saying that. They don't play no part in our music culture, especially in the look at this is 1932, all right? They didn't play any part. Now, there's an African-American girl who's going to really set the record straight in this. As far as the music is concerned, I think she did a brilliant job.
And to be honest with you, a lot of you are racist and anti-black anyway. We're not even represented.
Didn't I tell y'all? A lot of the Hispanics are anti-black, regardless whether we're gonna put them in a movie or not. They don't like you.
In your art, nor do black people demand that we be represented in your art that you're talking about for your people. Now, Matthew Torres missed the mark when he said that Ryan Coogler completely ripped off From Dusk Till Dawn and didn't give any homage or pay any homage to the influence that the movie had on his movie Sinners. But if you look at some of the interviews that he did, if you just do a little bit of research, Torres, you would see that he said he was inspired by the movie. So what's the problem?
Where's the Latino extras? Come on, Ryan, you're so good at putting Latinos in your movie. What happened here? You don't put Latinos in the movie, and you steal from the biggest Latino vampire movie? Come on, man, that's a bad...
In summation, this is trying to say that Sinners, the vampire movie that Ryan Coogler just dropped, is a knockoff of a Latino vampire movie to Dusk to Dawn. Mind you, Latino people are villainized in that movie, and Ryan Coogler did say that he was inspired by that movie and many others, and the movies are not that similar. Okay, let's start there. The main thing that I want to say is to all non-black people, like, y'all are so weird and obsessed with us, and I think like we're often so forced into being like kind and holding y'all hand through it. I'm gonna say y'all weird as shit. Nothing is stopping you from getting in the booth. You are not owed representation through us. We don't owe you that. Y'all are weird. Y'all steal our language, y'all steal our lingo, y'all steal the way we dress, y'all steal the music, y'all steal everything, and y'all still demand more. Y'all are weird. If you feel hit by that, you feel hit by that. But y'all are weird as shit. Like, that was some weirdo shit. You are...
Okay? Again, I don't know what's happening. But I will tell you this. When it comes to where we fit in culture, black people had been a part of a lot of things that was hitting from us when we were studying in school. I didn't know that there were black cowboys. I didn't know that there were black country singers, even though black people are the ones who really created the style of the country music. I didn't know there were black opera singers until I was maybe a senior in high school when I found out about the popular opera singer who was black. There was black people in every sector of America, but we were hidden from that. All right, I didn't know that there was a black driver of the Indianapolis 500 and the Daytona 500. The NASCAR. I didn't know. And so then we got this revisionist. We're trying to write ourselves into certain types of history and things that I see what she was trying to do. What's her name? Who wrote this Netflix thing that's a period piece where everybody dressed up in their high society, clothing. The woman who directed and produced, who created what's the movie? What's the How to Get Away with Murder and these other shows about the power of black women. What's the name of it, y'all? When you see that, what she did there was brilliant. I will say what she did there, she gave black people an opportunity to be a part of the high society. But here's the thing. It wasn't so far away. Thank you, Sherry Lynn. Bridgerton. Is it Bridgerton or Briggerton? Is it Bridgerton? All right. I like what she did. Chandra Rhimes. Thank you, Nene. All right, to Bridgerton. And bringing us in here. But here's the thing, you all. It looks out of place what she did with black people. But it wasn't as out of place as you think, because there is a period in history called the my brain is frying. The Gilded Age. Thank you, God. There was a period in American history called the Gilded Age, and when we look at the Gilded Age, we always see whites in Victorian situations. But the Gilded Age affected upper class African Americans as well, and you would see that Gilded Age affecting us positively in these Black Wall Street cities, not just Tulsa, but Black Wall Street was all over, especially in the North, and it was also here in Chicago, in Bronzeville, the neighborhood here in Chicago. All right. So the Gilded Age affected us, and I have a book. If you go to New York, I bought the book in New York, and you go to the Harlem Renaissance was the Gilded Age for African Americans. You understand? So that time, so what Bridgerton did, I thought was brilliant. She meshed whites with blacks. Yes, she did a great job of that, but that wasn't so far removed from what we were doing in our own communities during segregation, if that makes sense. So we have been belittling ourselves, and it was hitting from us the come up that we had, because the Black father was home with the mama and the children. That's all I knew coming up as late as this 1970s, early 70s, because then things started changing. The whole man in the house, they had to get rid of the man in the house in the late 60s, and then it got worse and worse. But all I knew was a Black man in the house, not just from my Black father, but from my Black uncles and my Black grandfather. They were in the home. So I didn't understand I never understood single mothers, where a single mother was at home and the children were at home and the father wasn't there. I never understood that concept. I just didn't, because that's not what I witnessed. But as you go further back in history, it was unusual, very unusual, for a single mother to be raising children. Even in Jim Crow, even in the hardest part, even during slavery, it just was hard to see that. All right, so they're breaking it down with the Hispanics, y'all. I thought they did a good job. Let me fast forward, and I'm going to get to this young lady who really did a great job in history.
Y'all are weird, obsessive. I feel like we have
to mute this guy. He got a potty mouth.
Hispanic community is a bunch of hypocrites talking about they want representation in Black art, Black movies, when they don't even give representation to the Black people in their own community. Look at Telemundo, Univision. Look at all the Robert Rodriguez movies. Where is the Afro-Latino or Afro-Mexican representation in those movies? They don't even give Black people in their own communities representation, but yet they complaining about representation in Black movies and Black American art. It's so sad that Ryan C had to give representation to the melanated people of their community in his movie, right? That's the only representation they got on a large scale, on a large film, was through a Black American man. Their own people didn't even put them on. When is the Latino Hispanic community going to create something and then put Black folks on? Because the first people y'all put on, if it's not other white Latinos or white Hispanics, is white people.
That's right.
Let's take Dust to Dawn.
Yeah.
You have two white men as the representation of this Mexican movie, Hispanic movie. It's sad that the Latinos and Hispanics hide the Black people in their community. Just tuck them away like they're homeless.
I love the movie Sinners, but
simple solution. Stop including.
Yeah, man, that was brilliant breakdown. Brilliant breakdown there. They want you to include them, but they will never include you. All right? All right. Now, I want y'all to hear this young lady here. I thought she was definitely very educated. Okay. She's a credit to her race.
think this guy liked this movie at all. I think he might be a racist.
We didn't say that. You did. But we agree. A very quick Google search would have told you that Ryan Coogler has acknowledged the influence From Dusk Till Dawn had on Sinners. So to insinuate that a black man stole an idea he created on his own and credited the several inspirations for is crazy. But since you want to act like this is about representation, let's talk about it. There more than likely wasn't any representation of Mexican Americans in Clarksdale, Mississippi in 1932 when the movie takes place, because by that time, due to the laws in that region, they were gone. The Great Migration for African Americans started around 1910. What happens around the same time? The Mexican Revolution. The mass migration of African Americans out of the South made previous slave owners with big crops nervous. And it's because of this they started recruiting Mexican labor. As you could imagine, word of opportunity and the potential freedom from violent conflict caused people to move quickly. Mexican Americans flocked to previously slave, heavily dependent states, specifically Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas. Mexican immigration to Mississippi peaked in 1925. And by 1926, the very next year, local white Mississippians started making laws against them. The most notable ones being laws that kept Mexican children out of white schools. Jim Crow didn't just move out of the way because it was a new minority group. I'm talking restrictions. Life was hard. And at the same time, the Great Depression is looming. The worth and the amount that could be earned from the crops that they came there to cultivate and share crop is dropping. From 1929 to 1931, some crops dropped to a third of their previous value. This left many black and brown farmers alike unable to pay back the debts they incurred in the predatory system that was sharecropping, and left many Mexican Americans destitute, abandoned, and forced to go home, most of which either returned to Mexico or settled in places in Texas. Smaller groups of Mexican laborers would return to Mississippi during harvest seasons, all the way up through the 1940s for seasonal work, but besides that, the numbers never recovered. To this day, the Hispanic and Latino population of Clarksdale, Mississippi, where the movie is set, is less than 2.7%.
And I saw that tamale store you put in the movie. Where's the fucking Latino extras?
The tamale store was a beautiful detail that further indicated he studied a lot for this movie.
Right.
As it's believed that tamales were brought into the Black American Southern culture during that time period by these Mexican immigrants. And it was placed on the African American side of the shopping center, which implies that we were the consumers.
Tomorrow we're going to be talking about how the vampires in the movie Sinners don't make any fucking sense.
What are you mad for, really? Historical accuracy that doesn't disrupt the plot is not enough, but potentially nonsensical, mythical beings is where you draw the line.
We are owed our flowers.
I 100% agree that we all need and deserve more representation in mainstream media.
Y'all are about to be real mad at me, but I thought this movie was terrible. I really...
Hold my hand.
Oh, they're about to go off on her. She said, okay, hold my hand. Do y'all, maybe you don't know, remember the Zoot Suits? Will I read? Will I root? Will I write? I heard about the Zoot Suits on Tom and Jerry. Monkey moves before your time. All right? And he would wear that hat with the chain. You would see it on the movie Malcolm X. And they would dance, the Zoot Suits. Well, the Zoot Suits was something you didn't wear if you was the wrong color. Mm-hmm. Because the Zoot Suits were something that was popular among Mexicans. And Mexicans was people who were hated, so she's right. And they were considered troublemakers, to the point where they began to outlaw Zoot Suits, because like how they are trying to outlaw some things that African Americans wear because of the young folk, like braids in school and what have you. All right? I know you're not blocked, Ronnie. I can see you. If I can see you, you ain't blocked. Okay? So This young lady gave an amazing history lesson on why Coogler didn't add Hispanics in the movie in 1932. You were not a part of the history or the culture or the music. You just one part of it. So don't get mad at it, like some people got mad at Bridgerton for adding black folks into that style of Victorian and saying that they didn't belong. The white folks got mad at the mermaid because the mermaid was black all of a sudden. A fictional character, white folks got mad at a fictional character, a mermaid. They got mad at little orphan Andy because she became black as well. Who else was black? Yeah. They got mad at the witch in the movie. What's that witch movie? Wicked. They got mad because Wicked she all of a sudden she black now. Boy, we got some problems. We got some serious problems, y'all. So I want to show y'all. I saw this video here, and I'm doing all of this back and forth to show y'all how brilliant the movie was. These are things that you don't recognize because you're there for vampires, but this movie wasn't about vampires. It's bigger than that. And this is true. Voodoo, hoodoo is our history as black people. Whether you're saved or sanctified, it's still a part of our history. And so he was telling the history. Voodoo is more of the spiritual, delving into the necromancy and the demonic stuff, but the hoodoo is the character themselves. Okay, it has something to do with culture, but the voodoo is more of the spiritual side. That's the difference between the two. All right, because again, I told y'all yesterday that they thought that C.H. Mason was a hoodoo worker or a root worker who practiced hoodoo, not voodoo, but hoodoo, who was a founder of the Church of God in Christ. But we discovered a audio of him preaching against hoodoo. You understand? So this video popped up about Irish. Where did the Irish come from? All right. This thing is about 2 minutes and 43 seconds. All right. I want you to listen to this very closely. I'm hoping that I can play it and I won't get snatched if it's copywritten or not. All right.
When did Irish people become white in America?
Go for it, John.
Where did the Irish people come and when did they become white in America? All right. Because the Irish was in this movie as well as the Asians. Asians play a part in our culture. For those of you who don't know. Asians played a part as well as the Irish played a part in our movies, in our culture, that is. Because in Chicago, the Irish was considered more poor, worse off than African Americans. And the slums that we have in Chicago, or the ghetto was not something that African Americans created. We thought that the ghetto was us. We've sang about the song. Who was that sang the song in the ghetto? Two people sang a song about the ghetto. Okay? Well, I know Elvis Presley sang about the ghetto, but what's his name? I ain't going to Christmas until I'm going to get to know you better this Christmas. What's his name, y'all? He sang about the ghetto. Okay, but the ghetto is not our creation. By the time we moved into the South and the North, that is, during the Great Migrations, we moved into what was already called the ghetto. The ghetto and even Ebonics didn't start with us. We're calling it Ebonics, but the way we talk, not the Ebonics, the hillbilly, not Ebonics, hillbilly. The hillbilly talk, that didn't come from whites in America. Thank you, Donny Hathaway. The Irish brought in the ghetto. We moved into the slums and the ghetto that they themselves created. Just like the hillbilly come from Europe, not America. You won't know these things because we were not taught these things. We just assume because of revisionist history that was taught to us by certain people who had a different color, we accepted it. So where did the Irish come from? Well,
when did the Irish become white? And how long have you been white?
as a recently visibly white guy. It's a complicated history. W.E.B. Du Bois made a famous statement about the condition of blacks in America in 1890, early 1920s, and indicated they were the poorest in all of America, except for the Irish immigrants, who were the poorest. And they were called Black Irish, and were despised by all the other immigrants who had already come in there, except the blacks at the time. And the Irish were able to scrape by on the generosity of the black people. Once their economic condition surpassed that, they no longer used that phrase and became white.
There have been numerous instances of groups becoming white in the United States. The Italians, Jews, Eastern Europeans as well. But there's been a hard barrier for black people, and this is what I think gets to anti-blackness specifically as a barrier that people can't cross. Black people don't get to become white in the United States, but lots of other people will get to become white, or white presenting, to use the old South African terminology, honorary white, even if you're not actually white, except for black people.
I remember a debate between James Baldwin and William Buckley in London. Because Buckley's argument was, okay, you blacks, if you just do what other people had done, you will be thriving economically and politically speaking. And Baldwin says, okay, well, actually, that is possible if we manage to change the color of our skin. Because of the color of our skin, you don't let us vote. You don't let us live in the neighborhood where we wanted to live, etc., etc. So this is a way to say that, of course, passing is possible for a certain number of groups, but it is not something that is available to the majority of black people in the United States, and that is the case still today.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, Ronnie, I'm getting a cut. Yes, I'm getting a cut. So, this being a teaching channel, we try our best to expose you to the real history or the whys of why people do what they do. This is why in our classes on Patreon we do what's called critical thinking. Critical thinking, we have been growing in that class so that we can see things now through the lens of more of a brain that is thinking about what's happening. Instead of reacting to something like we see in the comment section, we can respond to it by sitting down, thinking and analyzing, what is it that I really see? We are good Marines. Some things you can analyze not having to be in it. I don't need to go to a whorehouse to analyze whores. I don't have to go to the crack house to analyze crack, okay? Okay, I just don't have to do that. But there's some places that I can go and I can sit and I can sit and examine what's going on in this, and then I can build this man's interpretation of history. And that's what I did in the Sinners movie. I went there to examine what Coogler was trying to relay, the message he was trying to relay through his brilliance of cinema. And he did that. I think he brought his point across. That's why we are talking about it today. We know, is not a man who is in love with Jesus, or he would not have done what he did, okay? And in his interviews, he talked about he did this for the same reason why Snoop Dogg did a gospel album. Snoop Dogg did that gospel album because his grandmama told him. He was giving homage to his grandmother. Coogler was giving homage to his dead uncle, who would play blues music on the record, what have you. So when his uncle died, he went back and played some of his uncle's music. He said while he would listen to the music, he was channeling his uncle. Well, when somebody talks like that, you know they're not Christian. So I sit back like I would read any book on any subject that feeds me information on why a person is the way they are, so that I can then go and tell people why this person is the way they are, how they tell their American story. That's what Coogler did. He told his American story by bringing in cinema, a type of cinema that we all recognize, which is vampire, got us sitting there, and then educated us on the styles of the hoodoo and the ancestor worship and the music that is intertwined, and how black people did this in the South, and racism. He brought up Ku Klux Klan and all kind of stuff. He brought all that in the hodgepodge to educate us on what was going on in period piece. This was personal for him, but yet it was also something that was cultural to the American story and experience. So I saw this as an experience in history. I was not affected spiritually by it. You may not be able to go and watch it. It's not for you. But it was for people like me who are nerds, who love history, and who love to hear history by anybody who can tell it, whether you are saved or not. Tell your story. I'll sit and listen to you, and then I can then see how brilliant you are and how you told your story through cinema with the hopes that one day God's going to save you. God going to save you, man. Because let me tell you something. The Apostle Paul was persecuting the saints. He was killing them. And who did God use to be the one who we all are talking about today and reciting from his work? The man who was persecuting the saints. That could be Coogler one day. I compared Sinners to a Shakespearean play that ended in tragedy because the main character walked away from God. There you go, Natasha, and that's the whole point right there. This reminded me, Tasha, of The Color Purple. Daddy, sinners have souls too. That was Preacher. But the problem, Natasha, with Preacher is he had an opportunity. He said, I'm going to see you at church tomorrow. Daddy hid his guitar because he knew he was going out at nighttime trying to make a living doing a thing. Daddy put the guitar in the church. Spoiler alert. The boy couldn't find the guitar by his bed, so he went to the church, and there the guitar was there. And the daddy wanted him to play music for God. And the boy was like, okay, I did what I needed to do. I did my chores. I'm getting ready to go. And Daddy tried to stop him. The boy was like, Daddy, I'll be here tomorrow. But tonight, we're going to wang dang all night long. Okay? And he went down there and met the vampires and everybody else. All right? And then by the time he shows up for church the next day, the next morning, he's bloodied up, and the vampire done scratched him, and everybody done died in the movie, okay? And he shows back up at church to hug his father. I thought, wow, what a great way to end it, to show that the man, his soul is sold to the devil in a sense, because it's a mixture of stories, okay? Mixture of stories about selling your soul to the devil on if y'all ever saw the movie Crossroads, all this stuff could have sprinkled in there. And I thought, wow, he's going to give his life to the Lord. And then the credits roll. Some people left the theater too early. And if you sat there, you realize he's now a very popular blues singer that you all have heard of. This is the only person I'm not going to give you the spoiler alert. And there he is, an older man who didn't give his life to the Lord. So let me tell y'all, Coogler is a brilliant writer, director. Brilliant. I don't care what you say about him. Brilliant. Yeah, Michelle, that movie almost cost him his soul. Good to see you. Brilliant. And I'm looking for more movies like this from him because this is his style. I'm hoping the day that God will really deliver him, and then he can take this gift that he's got to get us all attention, our attention that is, and change it like Paul did. The Crossroads is amazing. So this is Crossroads, Color Purple, and Dusk to Dawn, Twilight, Proud Boys, not Proud Boys, Some Boys. What's that vampire movie? It's all that, y'all. All that in a bag of chips. Howling Wolf. Yes, Timothy C. Yeah, Delroy. Based on Howling Wolf. Yes. But they brought in the other famous man who has a spot here in Chicago. Again, I'm not going to say his name. Yeah. It was, Sam. It was riddled with symbolisms and juxtapositions. It was. That's what made it so brilliant. Thank you, Clark, Lost Boys. Yes. Young and brilliant, Rodney. Brilliant. So, you who are believers, listen. Everything is not for you. Thank you, Don Hunter. Thank you for that super chat. Everything is not for you. It really is not. And some of you just don't go see it because you may be a little uneasy with it. But let me tell you, if you're a critical thinker and if you can handle that kind of stuff, I was blown away by I just was blown away. Let's see if I got anything else here.
Everybody in that barn, Bo was the only person they would have even.
I'm trying to see. Oh, this young lady, I think she had something to say. All right, here.
They saw her stepfather, who is a white man. You know what? Let's get into the.
Play the one drop rule is to underestimate white supremacy. Purity is everything to those people. And that is what people are continuing to miss. Okay? You all are committed to missing that point. As I've said, you're watching the movie with a 2025 lens. But even in 2025, it's imperative that you understand one of the main themes of this movie, which is that white supremacy harms everyone. Okay? It's hurtful to everyone. It fails everyone, even people who are seemingly white, like the character Mary. So although I understand why people are like, well, black people are too welcoming, we're too open, why are we that way? Why are we that way? Historical context. In the Jim Crow South in the 1930s, those of you who are saying, well, why did they let Mary into their space? Because their space was Mary's space.
Right.
Like, I don't get what's not clicking about that, okay? Mary was born, raised, socialized, and conditioned as a colored woman. It wasn't until her adulthood that she stepped into the shoes of a white woman, and it was only out of necessity. It was only out of survival. It was not by choice. She made that perfectly clear.
Yes, right there. She bringing up a brilliant point. Yes, Clark. Yep, straight Old Brothers Where Art Thou. All through the movie, I kept hearing the music of Old Brother Where Art Thou. Thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, passing your benefit is that you can play that role for safety. Passing. She passed for white. And it's like, again, Lena Horne passed for white. She was able to get things that others who are darker skinned, colorism. What is the movie where the girl was white, but the mother was black? From the 1930s, and then they redid it a couple times. And she was ashamed of her mother. The mother came to the school. What was the name of that movie? The girl, even though she had a black mother, she decided to live the white life. I haven't seen all of the movie. I like to play that in the on a movie night one night. That movie. I'm sure one of you all are going to type it in there. It's a classic. What is it? Thank you. Imitation of Life. TK, yours came in first. Linda Scott, yours came in. Imitation of Life. Yeah. I've never seen the whole movie. And the one that I watched a little bit was the original movie from the 1930s, I think it was. And I might have stopped halfway through, maybe a quarter through, so I've never seen the whole movie. I would love to play that in the movie room because I want to watch it. But this is what passing does. All right. So this young lady is absolutely correct. Please know, children of God, they are reciting real life witchcraft and using real incantation and prayer over yourself. Ask God first. Yeah, Natalie. Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I called you Natalie. Natasha. I told you all, it's your choice. If you can't handle it, don't go. If you saw the trailer, you should know what it's all about. You saw it in school, Byron? All right.
She didn't, because their space was Mary's space. Like, I don't get what's not clicking about that, okay? Mary was born, raised, socialized, and conditioned as a colored woman. It wasn't until her adulthood that she stepped into the shoes of a white woman, and it was only out of necessity. It was only out of survival. It was not by choice. She made that perfectly clear. She didn't want to be white, but she assumed the role of a white woman because she was told she had to do so. And guess what? It still didn't save her. It still didn't save her. Why? Because white supremacy is harmful to everyone. It was harmful in the way it operated historically, and it's harmful in the way it currently operates. It will always be harmful to everyone. And the fact that you sat and you watched the entire movie and you didn't understand that, again, media literacy is dead.
As a black girl from the South with a white dad, I understand what Mary was trying to do in Sinners because I actually went through a very similar, very scary...
Listen to this girl's story, y'all, right here. I'm glad I was able to remember this.
Same situation. When I was like 11 or 12, the police came to our house. Mind you, they weren't there for us. Something had happened in the neighborhood or something. I don't know. They were there to ask us questions or something, get some information. They knock on the door. I answer the door. Obviously, I'm a kid, but I could tell they were surprised to see me. They were like, oh, okay, black family lives here. Got it. They're like, so are there any adults home? My first thought is I'm going to go get my mom, right? Because my mom was who I thought handled everything. So I got my mom, walked to the door, and I'm standing there, and they're asking her all these weird questions like, are you the homeowner? And my mom's like, yeah, I own the home. And they're like, oh, how many people live in the home? And I'm thinking, even at 12, I'm thinking, but they're not even, I thought they weren't even here for us. Like, we didn't do anything to have the cops, like, come over. Like, what's going on? But as soon as he asked my mom how many people live here, my mom didn't answer the question. She turned and looked at me and she said, go get your dad. And at this point, now I'm really confused because my mom has never deferred to my dad, ever like that. I go get my dad, who is a very large 6'3" white man, and he comes round the corner, and I swear to God, with my own eyes, I watched the cops, both of them, switch up their body language. At first, their hands were on their belt right in front of them, you know? They dropped their hands when they saw my fucking dad. And so he comes to the door and he walks through the door. He steps aside. Him and my mom lock eyes for a minute. They don't say a word to each other. And my dad walks out the front door and closes the door behind him. And me and my mom are in the house. And it's just kind of silent. And I'm just looking, because I still, as a child, I don't really understand what I'm watching happen. And I want to say 30 seconds later, literally 30, my dad walks back in the door. Cops are walking out of our driveway. And my mom's like, what happened? My dad's like, oh, they're looking for some, like, blah, 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 like, whatever, no big deal. Interactions with the cops are terrifying for us. Even, you know, even if you're a middle-class black person. Honestly, in a lot of ways, especially if you're a middle-class black person, because they get very angry when they see what we have. They get very angry when they see what we've accomplished, what we can afford. When Mary went outside in Sinners, I immediately knew what was happening. And I jokingly call my father like our great white shield, right? Because he kind of, you know, really shields my entire black family. Where Mary messed up was thinking that as a woman, she carried that weight. No, baby, no. White women make this mistake a lot, and I've watched them do it for years. White women mistakenly think that having white skin makes them respected by white men, gets them listened to by white men. No. It gets you protected by white men, absolutely. It gets you infantilized by white men, absolutely. Respected, no. No. Honestly, the only person who should have stepped out of that barn to go talk to them white people was Bo, the Asian man. And honestly, they probably still would have had a few snippy words to say for him. But out of everybody in that barn, Bo was the only person they would have even a little bit kinda listened to.
Yep. Y'all, some of this may sound kind of strange if you haven't seen the movie. And even though we're giving spoiler alerts, when you go see the movie, it will still be like you didn't hear this stuff. I mean, you some of the things will make sense when you go see the movie, but let me tell you, all spoiler alerts ain't spoiled. Candy says, my grandma came from Spain where she was 7 and her parents passed. Her older sister listed them as white for the opportunity, but my mom didn't look white. We were never listed as Spanish. So y'all, this is something. She said, Natasha says, as a black woman, I have been protected most by white men. So y'all, we have a culture situation here that has spanned the times. It goes back a couple hundred years, y'all. When the Africans were brought here for slavery, it's the same thing. Light skin, black, darker skin. Colorism was a problem within the color, meaning black folks. Because look at what is Spike Lee movie? What's the Spike Lee movie where they did that scene? It was a dance scene, a music scene where they talked about black, dark-skinned girls and light-skinned girls. Colorism has been the problem within the black community. You know, men were attracted more so to high yellow, lighter-skinned girls, and they're the ones who got the jobs. They were hired the most. They were respected the most. They were the ones that went after the white men. The white men wanted them, or they are the ones who, got certain roles in televisions and movies. High yellow. School days. Thank you, Natasha. Tasha, you helping me here. School days. And guess what? That didn't die. Light-skinned girls still look the same way. Look to the same way as darker skinned girls. One of the brilliance of Coogler is to use a darker skinned woman who was a little overweight as well as a prime figure of someone that people look to for strength and adoration and protection and wisdom, which was not typical. So what he did was he took an unfortunate trope and he turned it and made a love scene out of it. Made a love scene out of it with beautiful music in the background and turned what we may look to as that's not typically what happened. He turned it. Again, y'all, whether you like it or don't like it, agree with it or don't agree with it, brilliance is brilliance. Brilliance is brilliance. Dr. I can't quote the name here, the former African ambassador, spoke recently and asked the question, who sent the memo to every country to treat black people as the lowest class? Wow. That's deep. Colorism also happens to be the source of pain and a heavy burden that darker skin tone people, yes, bear throughout their lives. Yeah. I learned racism first in my race. And then the white race, they had names for us: mulatto, red-bellied, half-breed, yes. Quadroon is another name. I was going to read the tragic mulatto myth. I'll read the first paragraph. Lydia Maria Child introduced a literary character that we call tragic mulatto in 2 short stories, The Quadroons in 1842 and then Slavery's Pleasant Homes in 1843. She portrayed this light-skinned woman as the offspring of a white slave owner and an enslaved black female. This mulatto life was indeed tragic, and she was ignorant of both her mother's race and her own. She believed herself to be white and free. Her heart was pure, her manners impeccable, her language polished, and her face beautiful. Her father died, her Negro blood discovered, and she was remanded to slavery. Deserted by her white lover and died a victim of slavery and white male violence. A similar portrayal of the near white mulatto appeared in Clotel in 1853, a novel written by black abolitionist William Wells Brown. All right. This is a great article, you all. I would like for you to maybe read it. Rogers, let me see. Who can I send this? How can I? Oh, I could think I can put it right here. Let me. Will that work? Okay, yeah, there it is. I put it on YouTube. This link, Rogers, if you would grab that link right there on YouTube, and then send it to the Facebook. That is the article there, and it's a great article on the tragic mulatto. Mm-hmm. Meghan Markle, yes. Natasha, I keep telling you, you helping us. You're helping us. Meghan Markle is a perfect example of the racism in Great Britain under the roof of royalty. Because they was asked, that baby gonna be black, ain't it? I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect. Let's see. Here's an Asian man. Let me hear it, y'all, so I can go eat.
I watched Sinners, and I'm not so sure if I'm the one to speak on this, but one of the many lessons I learned from it is there's so much power in shutting the fuck up.
Uh-oh. Sorry.
Come on in! What are you doing? Shut up. Why is your vengeance and anger so much more important than your solidarity to the black community who has been there for you, who has uplifted you since the very beginning? Oh, it's because you're only willing to participate if you profit off of them.
Wow.
As a store clerk. Now, there's a lot of history there, but suddenly the moment you're oppressed, the moment your proximity to whiteness widens, you're willing to throw everyone who has supported you under the bus to get your piece?
Wow.
Look at you.
Wow. Wow. You have to watch if y'all can go. When you go to the movie, what he said is going to scream at the screen. I had not even thought of that. What this Asian man is talking about, he's talking about the Asian shop owner. Y'all go to Asian shops, don't you? As soon as you walk in there, the camera is following you everywhere. As a matter of fact, the Asian man or the woman is on a ladder looking down at the store, watching your every move. This is what he's talking about here. Come on in. And then they invite him to the party until the problem happened. And then all of a sudden, he mentioned white proximity. You have to go to the beginning of the show. Y'all, it's difficult to really explain this without you seeing the movie. I'm not pushing y'all to the movie, okay? I keep saying that. I'm not pushing y'all into the theaters because my pastor and Mother Bobo told us that we weren't allowed to go to the picture show because they misappropriated Psalms, the book of Psalms 1, is it? By sitting in the seat of the scornful or standing in the way of sinners. And then they said you can't go to the movies because you're sitting in the seat of the scornful. And my brother Ratty, I remember him being so bad and bold. He said, wait, but why do y'all do altar calls at your church? Because maybe there's somebody here who is unsaved. So basically, this church is the seat of the scornful too. There are people who are sitting here who are unsaved, and so you make us come here and sit, but we can't sit at the picture show. Y'all done screwed us up with the eisegesis scripture. Oh, man. So I'm not telling y'all to go to the seat of the scornful, But I will say, Kugler, I know you're watching. You always watch the Sirwalterj Jones show. Negro, African American, whatever you call yourself, brother, you are brilliant. You are brilliant. You are a master at what you do. And let me tell you, just like I mourned the death of the Pope Francis, I mourned him because I was hoping that God would do something for him in salvation. I don't know if that happened, but I'm mourning because 1 billion people are mourning too, and I mourn for them because they don't really know. They haven't really felt or understand the love of God. They're just practicing Catholics and may not understand the fullness of what Jesus did. So I applaud your brilliance, but I also encourage salvation. You can turn the world upside down again like the apostles did. Brother Kugler, if somebody would just sit with you, maybe Priscilla and Aquila can show you a perfect way on what's really going on. You can still teach the history of the voodoo, hoodoo, and ancestral worship. You can teach the history of it, and then you can end by telling the people, now here's another way, not just another way, but a better way. And that way is to devote your time to studying the scriptures so that Holy Spirit can enter into you. You can live your life being obedient to God through Holy Spirit and through His Son, and that you can now use your platform of brilliance to preach the gospel through media. And it's something that the Passion of the Christ, when that movie dropped, how many people were in the theater, because I was one of them. People were in the theater crying out the name of the Lord Jesus Christ in that theater. People were crying. People were repenting at the theater during the Passion of the Christ because they were seeing a man depicted as Jesus being whipped and beat at the cross. And if you saw the movie, most of the movie was filmed with them abusing Jesus. They didn't spend a lot of time with him healing the sick and raising the dead and feeding 5,000 and healing Peter's mother-in-law and walking on water and all that stuff, healing the blind man. Nope. They spent most of that movie time persecuting him, beating him, having him go down to Villa della Rosa and on that cross. And people were repenting and folks were being saved at the picture show. Wouldn't it be something that Kugler would take his brilliance and be able to turn the hearts and the minds of the people from the ancestral worship to God through His Son? Woo-wee. So as long as I live, I will continue to pray and ask God to do that for him and Jordan Peele and all these other spectacular directors, that God will use them mightily like God used the Apostle Paul. So God, thank you for your salvation. Come on, Brad, uplifting stories. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus, for your salvation, your salvific message on the cross, that you went down, we went down with you. But when you got up, we got up with you. You became the first fruit of the believer. So God, thank you for giving us the message. And thank you for the people who were here to hear me. I set them up. I told them about the movie through spoiler alerts with the hopes that they stay here long enough to hear this part of the story. We know the end and we win. So I'm praying that these people will also go before the Lord tonight and pray for the soul of Kugler, his all those actors and actresses, and many of those who are going to see the movie and may not understand. I pray for protection over those who are just too weak to stomach a lot of that stuff. But if they stay before the Lord before they go to the movies, they'll be okay. If I can be okay, they can be all right. So we love you, God. We sure give your name the praise. In Jesus' name, thank God. Amen. All right, y'all. I'll be getting cards and letters, and people will be in the comment section say, how dare you push the people into that movie? How dare People can do whatever they want to do. This is a teaching channel, and we talk about everything. Everything, because your pastor don't talk about it. You understand? So instead of telling people don't do something, tell them and sit them down and show them why. Give them the picture. You understand? I told y'all last week that at my church, they didn't lock the piano. But I went to a Baptist church where they locked the piano. And my father said, don't lock the piano. Well, they're going to be banging on it. Well, they're banging on it because they don't have proper, you're not sitting there with them and helping them play the piano. Well, ain't nobody here can play. Well, send them to school. But don't just lock the piano and tell them sit over here and they just looking at the piano. Teach them. Put their hands on the chords and show them this and that. All right? You can do that. See you at Patreon, Sirwalterj Jones Show, the men's room, right now.
This is what I mean by having a mechanic check your car out before y'all buy it. This whole subframe and frame is rusted out. Look at this. All motor mounts broken. Look at that. Look how they got this lady. And you won't believe this, but they got the whole frame of the car, the subframe, strapped up with straps. Every motor mount and transmission mount is broken. They took this lady down through there, man. This is insane. I'm not even getting up under this car. I ain't even finna touch it.
The 4 Women That Men Desire by Sirwalterj Jones is a women's guide to men. The author's endeavor to expose men fundamentally with his perspective on the types of women that men truly desire. He has meticulously penned a brilliant and controversial read, bold in its assertion that all women fall into one of 4 categories. Girl A, the side chick. Girl B, the mistress. Girl C, his soulmate. Or Girl D, his fatal attraction. And when a woman walks into a room, her category is showing. The 4 Women That Men Desire is funny, informative, and enlightening. It is a quick read and a must-have for your library. Head over to Amazon.com for your copy.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?